All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right. This is my first live, y'all. Um, don't have many subscribers yet, so probably won't get mentioned in the chat. But I just want to just use this first live to give my thoughts on my post-game rapid review on Super Bowl 57. Oh, by the way, before I start, please continue to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Even if you do not have like anything I have to say or whatever, just chat. I'll holler at you back. Spread the word, share the love. Because in any event, when you do those things, you'll be glad you did, and I'll be glad you did. And also, please continue to go to my website, www.theclowntimes.net. I try and do a better job of keeping my website updated to like at least a post a week. So please check out the website, and also check me out on Facebook as well. So, smartphone, laptop, desktop, wherever you are, wherever you may be, just type in the Clown Times. And by the way, this clown spelled with K, like you see here. And yeah, it'll get you there. And speaking of which, please get the merch at cafepress.com, search for the Clown Time Sports. Links will be in the description under this video. In any event, you get what you need: hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, mouse pads, whatever. Let's go to the Clown Time Sports. You find it there as well. All right. So use this live, my first live, to actually break down or give my final thoughts rather on Super Bowl 57 because it's pretty much close to my bedtime, so I'll try to make it quick. It was a great Super Bowl, man. I mean, this is Super Bowl for the ages. I did this video short Saturday, pretty much like predicting a very close win for the Eagles. Unfortunately, I was wrong with that, obviously, but I predicted, I think, 27-24 Eagles. Ended up being obviously 38-35 Chiefs with the last second field goal. I'll get to that in a moment, but, just give my quick thoughts, man. I mean, again, like I said, it was a great Super Bowl. Nip and tuck all the way. The largest lead differential was 10. That was when the Eagles made it a 10-point lead at like right before halftime when they kicked the field goal to go into the half. Then the Chiefs battled back like I kind of figured that they would. I didn't think that Patrick Mahomes and company would go away quietly, even with a gimpy ankle. And how about, and speaking of which, like Mahomes' performance, man, on a bad ankle, he did the damn thing. He was 21-27. Even though it was pedestrian, he threw a pedestrian 182 yards. We had 3 touchdown passes. And how about like 2 of those touchdown passes were the same play on opposite ends of the field, but Philly fell for the banana in the tailpipe twice. Like both times, the receiving, like the receiver actually like felt like he was gonna just motion inside and cut back outside the last minute, drawing the defender inside. The first time on the right side and the second time on the left side on 3rd and goal situations. That's just embarrassing. If you're an Eagles fan, you had to be embarrassed by that. But outside of that, in that special teams gaff that the Eagles gave up that big punt return near the end of the game that set up that second touchdown. It's man. I mean, if you're the defensive coordinator, you had to be like banging this up inside the head if you're an Eagles fan. But anyway, man. I mean, again, you can't really fault anybody. I mean, Jalen Hurts, sure, he had that bad fumble that led to that, like, I guess it was a 36-yard fumble return for a touchdown, which turned out to be the difference, oddly enough, for the game. But, you still had to give it to Jalen Hurts. He basically passed 27-38 for 304 yards in the touchdown pass, a good touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. And also, he had 17 carries for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns. So basically, the brother accounted for 4 touchdowns. Probably would have been the game's MVP if the Eagles actually had on a win. So, bad fumble and all. I thought that Jalen Hurts showed up and showed out. Right? I'm sure he like he would have had that one play back. But I loved what he did right after that fumble. He went on the sidelines, started dapping all of his offensive linemen up and just telling them all, hey, that's on me. I'll get it back for you. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but I could tell he was trying to make things right with his offensive linemen, letting them know that, hey, that blitz, that was not y'all. That was me. I should have held on to the ball. And what he do on that same drive, he came back and scored another touchdown. So again, I know Jalen Hurts came up short, but the brother showed out on the biggest game of his life to this point of his career. He showed up and showed out. And I'm pretty sure the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie and company, are going to pay this young man. I think he's up for an extension during this offseason. Memo to Eagles management, Howie Roseman and company, pay the man. Pay Jalen Hurts. # pay Jalen Hurts. So anyway, that brother's going to have a great future in this league. As long as he continues to work hard and get better and learn from his mistakes, he'll be all right. But I mean, I got to ask one question. And even though there were not many of the Yellow Hankies falling tonight, I think both teams were penalized for like 3 or 4 penalties each. But was that really a defensive holding call at the end? I mean, after watching replay, it looked like he kind of held him around the waist on the wheel route that receiver was running for the Chiefs. But do they really call that at the end? Because normally, the prevailing thought is that the officials will usually let the players play, unless the foul, the offense was so egregious that they couldn't help but call it. I just wondered, and Greg Olsen said this on the broadcast. And by the way, props to Greg Olsen. He's a lot better than Tony Romo. I'm sorry. I know Tony Romo's with CBS, and Greg Olsen's obviously with Fox Sports. But Greg Olsen did a damn good job with the color commentator. I mean, he was a stud with the Bears, especially more so with the Panthers in his playing career. But he did well. He did very well. But anyway, I mean, but what Olsen was saying was what I and many other fans watching the game thought. Do you really call that at that situation when it's about to be 4th down? Do you really call that? That's going to be talked about throughout the entire offseason, that penalty call. And God bless the official who made that call. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of flack from fans who are outside of Chiefs Kingdom. And granted, maybe other fans agreed that was a holding call, defensive holding call. And again, after watching replay, it appeared that the defender did hook the waist of the wide receiver because he got caught on that wheel route. Right? He was beat. So he did what he thought was the next best thing was impede his progress a little bit, but he got called for it. Sometimes you get called, sometimes you don't. And obviously at that time he did get caught. But going back to the Chiefs, man, it doesn't take away from the Chiefs' performance. Again, Patrick Mahomes is a stud. He's a man's man for playing through that painful, actually re-aggravated high ankle sprain injury. And thankfully, he'll have the whole offseason to get it fixed and rest up. Same with Jalen Hurts with his bum shoulder, by the way. But similar to Mahomes, Hurts just gutted through that injury, and he played well. That bad fumble notwithstanding, but he still played well. But going back to Mahomes, he gutted out a big victory. The Chiefs played well. And, congrats to the Chiefs for winning their 3rd Super Bowl in the franchise history. Because those of you who don't remember, the Chiefs won Super Bowl 5. Super Bowl 4, excuse me. In January of 1970, they beat the Minnesota Vikings back when they still had the AFL and the NFL. And that team was led by Len Dawson, Hall of Famer Len Dawson, rest in peace, quarterback of Kansas City, and coached by the great Hank Stram. Rest in peace to him as well. That was considered a huge upset, 23-7 over the Vikings. Vikings were great that year. And people still thought that the AFL was like the JV to the NFL, which led to the merger the following year. Well, the following season, I should say, because the AFL won the last two Super Bowls. The first one being Super Bowl III when Joe Namath made the infamous prediction and declaration or guarantee that we're going to win the Super Bowl, and I guarantee it. And they did. They just beat the then Baltimore Colts. Yeah, I forgot the score, but they did beat the Colts, which was all that mattered. Yeah. So speaking of Kansas City, winning their second Super Bowl actually in the last 4 seasons, because they won it. Yeah, I think it's the second Super Bowl win in the last 4 seasons, which was Andy Reid's also his second Super Bowl. So now that Andy Reid, speaking of which, let's get to him, aka Coach Big Red, of winning his second Super Bowl. Where does that leave him? Can we, in terms of the all-time great coaches, should we start to put them in the conversation? I think the answer is yes. A lot of coaches, well, not a lot, but there are so many coaches that have only one Super Bowl victory, but there are even fewer coaches who won more than one, and Andy Reid is one of them now. So I think it's time, man, to talk about Big Red as one of the all-time coaching greats. I don't think he's the greatest coach yet. That's still Coach Belichick of the New England Patriots, but I think you may have to start the conversation of putting him on the Mount Rushmore of coaches, because right now, like before tonight's game, my Mount Rushmore of head coaches was Vince Lombardi, because the damn NFL, the Super Bowl trophy is named after him for a reason. He won the first 2 Super Bowls. The great Bill Walsh with his West Coast offense and his 4 Super Bowls to boot, Super Bowl victories. The great Don Shula, who I think all but 2 of his coaching years, he finished above 500 or made the playoffs or was within playoff contention. And my 4th one was a toss-up between Belichick and the great Chuck Noll. They will fight out for the 4th spot. And actually, I should bump Belichick up a little bit. So let me just do that right quick. So Vince Lombardi, Coach Belichick, Bill Walsh, and God, this is tough. Don Shula, yeah. But Chuck Noll, I mean, many people don't know about Chuck Noll, former coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, led them to 4 Super Bowls in 6 years in the 1970s. Quarterback, coached the great Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, rest in peace to him. Rocky Bleier, Mean Joe Green, the Steel Curtain, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount, Donnie Shell. Going back to the offensive side of the ball now, I think I said Lynn Swann. Maybe John Stallworth, I didn't say his name. You got to put respect on Coach Chuck Noll's name. It's hard to keep him off the Mount Rushmore. So I know it's room for 4, but I'm gonna put this 5th. I'm gonna make a 5. Put his face up there. So now, where does this leave Andy Reid? I mean, Andy Reid won the 2nd Super Bowl. The question is, should I take any of those 5 head coaches I mentioned and substitute them for any one of them for Andy Reid? I don't know. I really don't know. Because again, I'm not going to disrespect Vince Lombardi, even though he won just 2 Super Bowls in the Super Bowl era, the first 2, but the trophy is named after him. I'm not taking Vince Lombardi off of that Mount Rushmore. Same with Bill Walsh. He invented the West Coast offense, the offense that's still implemented and utilized this very day. And he won 4 Super Bowls in 4 tries, by the way. Coach Belichick, I call him Belichick because he was busted for cheating way back then, but he won 6 Super Bowls. I'm not going to disrespect him by taking him off. And last but not least, Don Shula, the all-time winningest NFL coach. He's won 2 Super Bowls. And yeah, Super Bowl, he had the unbeaten season back in the 1972 Dolphins. So he won back-to-back Super Bowls, Super Bowl 7, Super Bowl 8. All but had only 2 losing seasons. 33 winning seasons we had winning records. Winning records. And Chuck Noll, 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. It's kind of hard to substitute one of those 5 for Andy Reid. But I'll tell you what, Andy Reid is not done. I mean, Andy Reid's been to 5 Super Bowls, won 2. And I think they'll be the big favorite going to next season. So they're not done yet. So I'll tell you what. I think Belichick is getting exposed post Tom Brady. So this is tough. If Andy Reid wins another Super Bowl before it's all said and done, his 3rd Super Bowl, there's an argument that he may take the place of Coach Bill Belichick on that Mount Rushmore. Again, I modified my Mount Rushmore for head coaches from 4 to 5 because I cannot keep Chuck Noll off of that list. I got to give him my respect. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan, but you can't disrespect the guy who won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. You just can't do it. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on Andy Reid. Andy Reid is a great head coach. Cats love playing for him. They loved him in Philly before he got ran out of town, and he quickly landed on his feet in Kansas City. So I guess Kansas City's taking Philly. Like, thank you, Philly, for gifting us Andy Reid. So it remains to be seen. But otherwise, great Super Bowl. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. Didn't really care for the Super Bowl commercials. That's not another discussion for another time. Enjoyed the Rihanna performance. I'm not as big a fan of her as my wife is, but I enjoyed it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not going to disrespect her for the other stuff that's been speculated on social media about her in terms of her appearance. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. But either way, it's a good night. It was a great night for the NFL, great night for fans. I just wish, again, yeah, it was defensive holding. It might have been defensive holding. Yeah, it was defensive holding. But do you call that? I wish they would not, because it seems so ticky-tack to call that at that moment. You let the players decide on the field. It wasn't that egregious to me. I didn't think it was that egregious. But anyway, all right, it's getting past my bedtime. I'm gonna sign off, but hope y'all enjoyed my first live video. Please see like, comment, share, subscribe, because either way, you'll be glad you did, and I'll be glad you did. Check out my website, www.theclowntimes.net. That's clown spelled with K. Get the merch at cafepress.com, search for Clown Time Sports. Links will be in the description on this video. So until next time, y'all take care. Be good. Enjoy the rest of the week. Peace out.